The most expensive road car in the world. Sold for an eye-watering 135 million euros, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe. Never before has a car gone under the hammer for such a massive amount of money. At a secret auction organised by Mercedes, the F1 engine silver gullwing outperformed the previous record-breaking vehicle. A Ferrari 250 GTO, going for 3 times as much, but more on that later. First, meet its successor. With the spectacular AMG ONE, the spirit of the legendary Mercedes Silver Arrows returns to the streets. Numbers are key, as far as the new hybrid 3-pointed star in the hypercar sky goes. 781 kilowatts, 0 to 100 in 2.9 seconds, and limited to just 275 units, each with a base price of 2.275 million euros. You think that's expensive? Unaffordable even? Clearly not for everybody. All 275 cars have already been sold. The cars from both 1955 and 2022 both have Formula One technology under the hood and drove their engineers to the brink of despair. These are works of art and have pushed the boundaries of the possible. 2022 is a special year for Mercedes. The car and truck businesses have been separated, and e-mobility has been given its very own platform with the EQ series. And Mercedes passenger car CEO Ola Källenius is radically trimming the car maker with a focus on profitability and luxury. The brand is celebrating its strategic realignment with the spectacular auction of one of only 2 original racing cars built in 1955 with a roof and gullwing doors. The 300 SLR Coupe, designed by the legendary Mercedes chief engineer Rudolf Uhlenhaut. The SLR brought Formula One technology onto the road. Powered by a 2.5-litre inline 8-cylinder engine with 220 kilowatts and a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour, it was considered the fastest car in the world. It was auctioned off by Mercedes to an unnamed private collector for the record sum of 135 million euros. The money will be used to promote a young generation of up-and-coming talent through grants from the Mercedes-Benz Fund, thus enabling the development of sustainable and resource-saving technologies, entirely in the spirit of Rudolf Uhlenhaut. With its sale price of 135 million euros, the 300 SLR also decimated the previous record for most expensive car ever sold. Ferrari had always led the way in recent years. In 2018, the 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO held top position, having been sold at Sotheby's for almost 42 million euros. The last Mercedes sold for a scandalous sum was the 1954 W196 RF1, which sold for 23 million euros in 2013. But the 3-pointed star doesn't plan on resting on its laurels. This modern silver arrow is a means to continue the legacy. First dubbed Project One in 2017, after a few years of delay, the machine is all set to hit the streets as the AMG ONE. Formula One technology that's street legal. It doesn't get any better than this.
We underestimated the technical challenge of making such a vehicle street legal, to be honest. The challenges are manifold, because a Formula One engine is simply not made for this. To have it perform for 50,000 kilometers, you first have to adapt the engine, which is not made to operate with road car sensors. To do this was a huge challenge. The second thing, the advent of COVID, didn't really help us because we need to work really intensely together, especially on a project like this. And that was, of course, very difficult. But at AMG, we never gave up, and now we're close to the finish line.
The four-wheel drive hypercar is powered by 5 engines. Its 1.6-litre V6 combustion engine is supported by 4 electric motors, 2 on each axle. Then, of course, there's the design.
The aerodynamic concept of the vehicle is really special. Everything starts here in the front. The air flows here into this grille, and then through the cooling system. And what then happens is all in this carbon component. You can see it here. We separate the airstream into different directions. First, the mainstream flows directly over the air intake of the Formula One internal combustion engine. Then there's a stream on the side that goes over the car and hits the rear wing here. And part of the stream hits this air intake, where this carbon element supplies a cooling unit, left and right, for motor oil and transmission fluid. Here we see the vehicle in the motorsport styling package with special Formula One paint. And you can see the star pattern here, and each star is painted on by hand, handmade for each customer. AMG has changed dramatically in recent years. We were actually the classic car customizer. Now we have our own sports cars on offer. And then the idea came up, let's do something really crazy. Hypercars are the pinnacle of car manufacturing. And we said we can do that too. And then the engineers came and said, let's take on a Formula One car. The technical challenge was one thing, but this pushed us to the limit of what's possible.
After 8 years of development work, the 275 units are now being handed over to their owners. AMG made the prospective owners prove they earn their money honestly, no ill-gotten gains allowed. They're also contractually obliged to keep their car for at least 3 years, to prevent speculators from reselling. All moves that make the AMG ONE just as valuable as its legendary and now priceless Silver Arrow ancestors. Cars that in their own time are the very pinnacle of technological possibilities.